Welcome back, everyone, to Box Podcast, and it's good to see you. What is also good to see is that testing has wrapped, and you know what that means. Yes, we are on the home straight to the start of the season. We will be heading to Melbourne very, very, very soon, and we know a lot more about these cars than we did last week. We said some teams are going to bring some very innovative showstoppers, and we saw that from some teams, one in particular that drives around in scarlet red. But before we get into that, we are Box Podcast, powered by Box Club. If you do want to check them out, the link's in the description down below. You can get 30% off an Ultra subscription, or you can just download the app for free. If you want to follow us on social media, then search Box Pod on Instagram, Box Clips on TikTok, where you do also get additional content. We really appreciate any support. So wherever you're listening to us, do give us a 5-star rating, or you're also watching us on Spotify, so it's good to see you. If you're watching on YouTube, give us a like, subscribe if you're new, and comment, because we love it when you engage. If you're going to do any of those three, I'd choose comment. Anyway, you don't want to hear any more of that. Let's get on with the podcast and talk F1.
All right, guys, welcome along. Testing is done, and like Luke said, up next, we are back in action. It's been a long winter.
I just want to say, right, I was thinking about this. Ferrari, I'm not going to go straight into talking about this, but this is about me, right? I'm making it all about me.
As always, yeah.
Yeah, as always, right? Last week, I said, I expect Ferrari to turn up to Bahrain with a car that looks vastly different. And I think they're going to do something that, it was along the lines of, they're going to surprise us. They hadn't really done anything to that car since the day we first saw it. I was right. Might I add, I was right. We saw the most innovation from all teams, visible innovation from Ferrari. And I don't think everyone was expecting that. But if you were listening to Box Podcast, you would have known that we were anticipating that. And as always, hit the nail on the head.
Well done, Luke.
Pull the receipts up.
Yeah, if you want to go back and listen. Before we get started, surprisingly, we've been doing, Luke and I used to film together in the same room, but for, I'd say probably about 8 months now, 9 months we've been doing it this way.
Yeah, well, we just couldn't bear to sit in the same room as each other anymore. Yep. So this is a lot easier because it never comes to blows.
Yeah, exactly. Luke's got to get worried because, these guns.
Yeah, Matt's a big guy. The camera is deceiving. I mean, he's like John Cena. You can't see him.
Look, we had a lot of comments this week, Luke, about our AirPods, and
what did we?
I don't know why. There's been a few comments on socials about why have they got AirPods in? What's with the AirPods? Well, I thought I'd tell you. So if you don't know, this is how we listen. So this is how I listen to Luke. And this is how Luke listens to me. That's the whole point of the AirPods.
Are you all familiar with the concept of a phone call? Because that's how we're communicating with one another right now, given that, yep, we're in different rooms, 100%. We have to jump on a call. If I was playing out loud and Matt was playing out loud on my phone, all you'd hear is Matt twice and me twice. And once is enough, trust me. So it would be very annoying. That is why we could wear anything. Believe me. I mean, you can go back and listen to the podcast. No one's feeding us information. That would be nice.
Oh, yeah. We're that professional. We have people who are giving us... If you know us well enough, that isn't the case.
It's a producer. It's producer in here.
But anyway, yeah, that's why we have the AirPods. So if you... I don't know why. Random comments this week. But anyway, like Luke said... Going to start off with the best meme of the week. All right, the best meme of this week was about Ferrari. And Luke, I sent this in the group chat.
You're going to make me bring this up on screen, so I've got to do it in the edit, haven't I?
100%. F1 fans praising Ferrari new upside down rear wing. And the guy in the picture standing next to him, Ferrari mechanic who accidentally installed it backwards.
Yeah, I mean, that was very funny when it got sent. And I mean, we should talk about Ferrari, because Ferrari turned a lot of heads.
We're winning it all. We're winning it all. I'm saying it now.
Look,
Lewis Hamilton is winning the world title. Ferrari are going to win the constructors. We're winning it all.
we will get onto that because I know there's a lot of you listening right now saying like, yeah, Ferrari may win it all, but it won't be with Lewis Hamilton. It will be with Charles Leclerc, and we will have that debate. But I want to look at what Ferrari have done because initially, day one, what was turning people's heads was this thing on the exhaust. They essentially, what I'm led to believe it is something that converts the airflow from the exhaust into downforce, right? Very innovative, and it seems to be widely regarded that it is legal, so that's good. But we get to day two, and Ferrari really do pull out all the stops. Matt, to tell them what they did.
Well, initially, I'm assuming you're talking about the rear wing.
The rear wing that rotates 180 degrees, that looks like a genuine malfunction.
Yeah, I love the fact that actually when this happened, it threw everyone off. You had the commentators going, oh, it looks like the rear wing's gone there. It looks like it's broken. No, Ferrari, right? We gave them a lot of stick last year. Fair play. Innovation at its best.
Hang on. We say fair play. We didn't see the timing screens light up. But, we haven't seen this in race trim. That could genuinely be the worst thing anyone has ever made.
What? Even worse than the no side pods?
Hey, the W13 was the most successful Mercedes car of the ground effect era. So you can laugh at no side pods or the advantage locked in for years tweet. But that was their best car. We know nothing about this 180 degree upside down rear wing, right? It could be innovation, Formula One innovation at its absolute peak. Or it could just be the shittest idea in the world that everyone else has thought about, laughed and said, we're not doing that.
It was interesting, wasn't it? Because there was some comments this week about, with any of this type of stuff, it's either teams have thought about it and decided not to go with it, or teams have actually crap, that's actually a very good idea. We did not think about that in the slightest. And Ferrari are the only ones who have gone with this type of design. But, I'm basically going from the pace that we've seen this week in testing with Charles Leclerc, Lewis Hamilton. It looks like it's got good race pace. Let's just quickly talk about the actual practice starts. I'm not being funny. Lewis Hamilton was one of the worst qualifiers last year, okay, in a top team. He was awful. All the time, he was like P7, P16, all over the place. That doesn't matter this year because Lewis Hamilton could start P22. By the end of lap 1, he's P1 because that start was outrageous. And when you're looking at the other teams are looking at that, they're going, shit, we're in trouble here, lads, because that is mental.
It's so dramatic. Have you ever seen the film The Dictator?
No.
Sacha Baron Cohen, and he's a dictator in a made-up country, and he wins everything for there's a scene where he's running in the Olympics and he's doing a sprint, and off the line he just starts shooting people so they can't even run, so he wins it. It was like that. It was like all the other teams had just been nerfed instantly and Lewis Hamilton just drove off. It was like watching an F1 car race against me in my car. That's what it looked like pulling off the line. It was so outrageous. And I've read so many interesting things on this, right? Because there was talk last year, or concerns raised by Ferrari last year, Fred Vasseur, about this start procedure with the new engines. Because obviously now we're at 50-50. We've got 50% ICE power and 50% battery power. Whereas previously we've been running at 70-30. Now, I'm not going to claim to understand what it was exactly that Fred Vasseur was concerned about. If you want to go and find that out, Google it. It will show up. But allegedly, all the other teams laughed him off. Now, Ferrari, being aware that this is going to be an issue, or could be an issue, built the engine to counteract this issue that Fred raised. And my God, it could be a stroke of genius, right? Apparently, the reason the Ferrari can pull off the line so quick is because it's something to do with the turbo being smaller or the turbo spool being smaller. I don't know what that means. But if it is something as intricate as that, that's not just something the teams can quickly hop on and be like, we'll just do it then, because clearly that's the solution. I don't think it's as simple as that.
Well, I think it's interesting because it wasn't just Ferrari who pulled off the line nicely. You also had the Haas. The Haas had a very good start as well. I know it's obviously the same engine, but
Cadillac will be the same.
Well, Cadillac, I mean, let's be honest, they look the worst out of the three. But generally,
but they should be able to pull off the line nicely.
Yeah. But yeah, mate, if you haven't seen it, go and check out those videos of the Ferraris on the practice starts. It is impressive. It is like a rocket ship. And I have no concerns about Lewis Hamilton qualifying badly this year. Qualify where you like, mate, because you'll be leading the race by lap 1. So
honestly, don't even bother turning up to quali, because that would disappoint us a little bit. So just stay at home, take the extra rest, because you want to be pumped up for race day.
Protect the engine.
You turn up on Sunday, just rock up 5 minutes before the race or something, play it cool. Get in the car. Yeah, you'll be at the back of the grid. Give it a few corners, you'll be at the front, mate. Honestly, by the end of the first straight, you probably would have made up 11, 12 places. You just cruise your way to the front.
It's impressive. And it's interesting because George Russell came out and spoke about it, because he was asked about, the practice starts, and he went to win a race, you've also got to get off the line quite well. And I think the 2 starts I've made this week were worse than my worst ever start in F1. And it is a worry when you're looking at other teams, and if this is the true potential of this Ferrari, which all us Ferrari fans and Lewis fans and Leclerc fans are hoping, other teams are in trouble here because their practice starts looked weak. And whether they're sandbagging, I mean, I don't believe that they would be sandbagging on a practice start, because this is something where they want to get a rough idea of where they're at. It's a worry.
Yeah, look, I don't think... I want to discuss sandbagging a little bit, because I always find it so interesting, right? I don't personally believe at this point in time, we get to the final day of testing and that concludes. I don't think any team could be affording to sandbag dramatically. They might. I'm not denying that teams will be holding back a few tenths here and there. I don't think with coming into this new set of regulations with such a dramatic change in everything, we're talking brand new engines, and not just at the same ratio of a 70-30 split between hybrid and combustion. Like, we're talking brand new. I don't think teams can afford to sandbag too heavily. And I mean, you go back through the years and you can look back at testing times and be like, okay, well, yeah, the writing was on the wall. We didn't get to 2014 Bahrain pre-season testing, or whether it was Barcelona, I can't fucking remember. But Mercedes were the quickest car when we got there, right? It wasn't like they were concealing it and then we got to Bahrain, first race of the season, and they were a second a lap quicker and everyone was like, oh my God, where did that come from? I think we've seen everyone's hand pretty well here. I'm not saying that we know completely, but I think we have seen largely who is going to be very strong and who is going to be weak.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think it's interesting because there is some reports that have come out even today saying Mercedes are understood to have significantly turned down their engine in testing. However, Ferrari and Red Bull also did the same. So this leaves a lot of questions heading to Australia, because I agree with you, because with sandbagging, with this type of brand new car, this new era and this new regulations, you want to see that a good percentage of this of how your car is going to do, because heading into Australia you want to know where your car's at. But it's a tough one. It is a tough one. Obviously, we're 2 weeks away now. this time 2 weeks time we'll have had the Australian Grand Prix, and we'd have seen Lewis Hamilton on the top step. But I'm excited for it, and I know we discussed last week about the fact that actually is F1 being ruined and stuff, and at this moment in time I am buzzing for the new season. I am really excited for it. These new regulations are so confusing, so baffling, that it's a bit all over the place, and I'm really excited for that, because we've come out, as I said, we've come out of that era of a ball fest, Red Bull domination, and McLaren come in, and it's between McLaren and Red Bull, and that's what you've had for the last 2 years. No real overtaking, DRS, all of this stuff. We're coming into this new era now where it's so variable and so all over the place as fans, and I don't even think teams fully understand what their cars are going to be like, come Australia. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, look, I'll be honest, I'll restate what I said last week. I think if any F1 fan is sitting there all doom and gloom about heading into this season, then I don't really understand what you want from the sport. Fair enough, you're a racing purist. I want V10 engines and I don't want all this electric power and confusing. I get it. I get it. But on the basis that we are in this scenario, this is what the cars are, this is the rules, this is the regulations. You got to put, your fantasies aside. Where we're at right now, I haven't been this excited for F1 for a long time. I think there's something special about these cars. I think they look great, for one. I don't think F1 cars have looked this good for a long, long time. They are obviously a brand new set of regulations where we've got that complete uncertainty. It is a different set of rules. There's new aero rules. We've lost DRS. There's, we don't just have battery deployment for the overtake button. It's all so different. The racing is going to look very different because the way in which they use the battery in these cars is very different to how it has been since it's been introduced. So I think there's no reason to be down, unless you're an Aston Martin fan or a Cadillac fan. There's no reason to be down about the start of the F1 season. Give it a few races, then we can sit here and make judgments. But I stand by the fact that everything we're seeing right now, for me, is just exciting. I think it looks class.
No, I agree. Just going back to Ferrari, this is an interesting point as well, because in terms of reliability, Ferrari have completed over 1,000 laps in pre-season across Barcelona and Bahrain without any power unit problems. Okay, No other engine manufacturer, even the highly favoured Mercedes, can say the same in 2026 so far. I mean, I forget about that, because that Ferrari, the reliability looks phenomenal.
Yeah, and I mean, again, that is a big thing coming into this new era where we've got brand new engines. We know that reliability can make or break a season. We can take you back to 2016. Look at Lewis Hamilton. That essentially lost him the world championship. I know there will be other bits throughout the season, but you know what I'm saying. If Ferrari's engine is bulletproof, that's going to be a massive thing. You could have the quickest engine in the world. If it breaks down on the 55th out of 56 laps every race, then you're cooked. It's pointless. So yeah, Ferrari will be very happy. Honestly, I genuinely believe all the teams will be happy with how their engines have performed over pre-season testing. Aside from Aston Martin, who may or may not have the CEO of Honda in a chokehold or tied to a chair somewhere, because I have no idea what they have been doing, but
I mean, there
seems
trouble.
To be huge. They're in huge. They're not just in trouble, Matt. They're in shit.
Yeah, I mean, we spoke before. Are they sandbagging? They're not sandbagging. This is a team.
Sandbagging. Could you imagine if they were sandbagging? Oh my god. This is. Mate, I don't even think you could sandbag that. You can't even simulate how bad they are. They wouldn't even be able to make up how crap they are. It's unbelievable.
Would you? In the last podcast, I said they're in disarray. Would you now agree?
Disarray. Oh my god! If I was there, I would have quit. If I was the T-boy there, I'd be like, I'm not being part of this. Fuck that. I'd leave. It's crazy because the car looks insane. By the way, like I'll stand by this. It looks. It's one of those cars that just looks quick as hell. Do you know what I mean? Like if you had all the cars lined up in front of you, and you'd never seen them drive off before, and someone just had to say, pick the quickest one, you'd say, well, it's that one. It just has that look about it. Stick it on the track. Christ, I don't know what's happened. I don't think anyone believes it's an aero issue. They obviously have clear engine issues, but disarray is one way to put it.
This statement will make you laugh, okay? Honda unhappy with its own F1 performance. No shit. Really?
Yeah, I imagine if they came out and they were like, we're quite happy with this. If I was Adrian Newey, I'd be on the first flight to Japan with Des and Troy, mate. I'd be hitting someone because you cannot tarnish that man's legacy.
Des and Troy.
He has, even this car, it's no surprise that we're looking at the Aston Martin and saying like, wow, that looks spectacular. Yeah, it's because they've got Adrian Newey there. But come on, maybe, do you think they're regretting leaving Mercedes as an engine?
Oh, 100%.
I know it's so they can become independent over the long run, but with all this talk of the Mercedes engine and the way this Honda engine has performed over the last couple of weeks, it's not looking like a good choice at the moment.
Well, the mental thing is, right, if you're Aston Martin, you got to be peed, haven't you? Because you've seen the success Honda have had with Red Bull, and you're thinking to yourself, right, they're good. They build good engines. Like, we're in with a real chance here. Bringing in Adrian Newey, we've now got Honda. They've come, from the likes of Red Bull, where they've won championships and that. And they provide us with one of the worst engines we've seen in a long time.
Do you think that maybe Honda don't even care about F1? Do you think they just hate Fernando Alonso? That is entirely possible. That is, I mean, Fernando Alonso's relationship with anything Honda is not great, is it? No. You're telling me they're able to compete when they're doing it for Red Bull? I bet they wouldn't if Alonso was at Red Bull. Yeah, Red Bull back of the grid, 100%.
Can we just touch quickly on Fernando Alonso, because on one of our recent clips where I said about Lewis Hamilton's going to win the world title this year, there was somebody who commented that actually, how do you think he's going to win that? Fernando Alonso wouldn't even win in that Ferrari. Mate, I'll be honest with you, Fernando Alonso and Lewis Hamilton are not in the same category, okay? They're two completely, they're not, you can't even put those two together, all right? Yes, age-wise, very close, but the comparison between Lewis Hamilton and Fernando Alonso, there is no comparison, right? You've got a 7-time world champion and 2-time world champion. Don't come at me. Well, actually, you can come at me if you like. Do not put Fernando Alonso in the same category as the GOAT. Sorry.
Yeah, I think it's about time these comparisons stop. No one disputes that Fernando Alonso is a great driver, a 2-time world champion, but you got to stop putting him in that conversation with Lewis Hamilton. It's like me saying, well, in year 6 I was captain of the year 6 cricket team, and Ben Stokes might have been captain of the year 6 cricket team at the same time at his school. It doesn't mean we're the same. Do you know what I mean? He's gone on to win the World Cup with England. People have got to let it go, right? Fernando Alonso has, since, his 2 world championships, gone on to have a very decent F1 career. Lewis Hamilton has gone on to break nearly every single record under the sun. So, I think, look, let it go. Let it go. It's fine.
Just finishing on testing, I might do a little quiz with you, Luke, because...
Oh, brilliant.
The total laps completed in 2026 preseason testing, so that's across Barcelona and Bahrain. So, we'll go from P1 down to P11, but I want you to...
I have to give the number of laps, can I just give the team?
I'll give you the number of laps and you give me the team.
Uh-huh.
All right, so
okay.
In first place with 1,214 laps, who's that?
It's a great question.
I know.
I know Red Bull pumped in a lot of laps. But I'm actually going to say Racing Bulls.
Mercedes.
Or them.
Yeah, P2 with 1,185 laps.
Red Bull.
Haas. P3 with 1,181 laps. 4 laps short of Haas.
Red Bull.
Ferrari. You're doing well here, mate. You're doing very well. P4 with 1,105 laps.
Red Bull.
McLaren. P5 with 1,051 laps.
Racing Bulls.
Racing Bulls, well done.
Yes.
Well done, lads. Well done. Everyone comment down below. He's got one right. Right. With 1,024 laps.
Red Bull.
Alpine. We're now dropping down into the 3 figures, 975 laps.
Red Bull.
Well done.
Yes. I knew if I said it enough times.
You got 2 out of 7. Well done, mate. Then with 953 laps.
What's that? The 8th team we're on now.
Yep.
God, I'm trying to think who's been said.
It's not Red Bull, okay? Just so you know.
No, yeah, I won't say Red Bull. Audi.
Well done. Yep. 790 laps.
And this is the 9th team.
Yep.
Huh. Are you sure this isn't the 10th team?
Nope, it's the 9th team, mate.
I'll come back to that one.
Well, you can't. That's not the aim of the game, is it?
No, but because I'm forgetting a team. Because I know that the last 2 are Cadillac and then Aston Martin.
Yeah.
But there's a team that I'm missing.
Yeah.
And I can't think of the team. It's like it's left my brain. Don't tell me.
Operator.
Oh, Williams.
Well done, mate. Well done.
Yes.
And then Cadillac with 750 and Aston Martin with 400 laps. I mean,
yeah, the Aston Martin thing, it goes back to all their issues. After they weren't able to get to it was Barcelona, wasn't it? Or they had some issues in Barcelona.
They did, yeah.
The last thing they probably wanted coming into Bahrain is an engine that doesn't work. So they will be worried going into the season. We've spoken about Aston Martin and their significant investment, and they made a big change to go to Honda to essentially try and become a little bit more independent. In that sense, we know that they're building wind tunnel, all the investment is going on. But this is a horrible, horrible way to sort of kickstart this big transformation. We know that the Aston Martin transformation has been going on for a number of years, right? But this is probably the first time that we as fans have been able to visibly see it. We're finally seeing tangible things to do with that change. And it's not looking good, is it? I still stand by the fact that I do believe at some point Aston Martin will be a force to be reckoned with. I think as an F1 team, they're doing everything that you'd want them to do.
Yeah.
But this is a horrible, horrible way to kickstart this whole thing.
100%, I agree. Going off topic of testing, Max Verstappen.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you've seen the interview he did with Naomi Schiff and David Coulthard. I sent it in the group the other day. And he was asked about, how long will he stay in the sport and that. And it's really interesting to listen to him because he says, well, ultimately, it doesn't really matter if I have 4 championships, 10 championships. You know, it's not going to make a difference when I'm 60, 70 years old.
It does though. It does. I'm sorry. It does.
Yeah.
And I understand what he's saying. I think somewhere within that message, the sentiment is life is more than Formula One. Okay, and I get it. He's that's a good message to put across, because you know life is way more than any of your achievements. It's who you've spent it with, things that you've done, memories. But let's not forget that Max Verstappen has worked his whole life to get to this point. Formula One, whether he wants to show that to the world or not, is one of the most important things in his life, because he's worked his whole life up to this point, and he's achieved incredible things. And if Max Verstappen retired tomorrow, people would talk about him when he's 60, 70 years old as one of the all-time greats. But it's very different being talked about as one of the all-time greats versus being talked as the all-time great. And if Max Verstappen went on to win 10 world championships, I am pretty convinced he will look back at the age of 60 or 70 more fondly on his time in F1 than had he, retired with 4. That's just my opinion. I know people are going to be like, you don't speak for Max Verstappen. I know, we're different people. But I'm just saying, it does matter. But I also get that there are more important things in life, but F1 is a huge part of his life.
Yeah, I agree. And it was a good interview, actually. I thought it was a good interview. I thought he was basically... You're
a Max fan now.
I'll be honest with you. I do like Max Verstappen. I don't know, something about him.
Scenario.
Okay.
It's a championship battle.
Yep.
It's between Lewis and Max. Are you still fond of Max?
No. Look, I'm a Lewis fan.
You'd hate him again.
Oh, despise him. But I'm a Lewis fan. He's always the one where my loyalty is, with Lewis Hamilton. However, I have to say, Max Verstappen has changed my perception. Probably a bit like Sebastian Vettel did. You know, everyone used to hate Sebastian Vettel, didn't they? Mm-hmm. And then when he left the sport, he was one of the most likable drivers on the grid. But I don't know, something about Max where I don't know. I've just warmed to him over the last couple of years. I like that. I like his responses. I don't know. I suppose his battle with Lando just made me like Max more. But anyway, no Lando agenda.
I think you hate Lando. That's fine. I think the thing with Max is, I actually don't think Max has changed too much since anything. I wouldn't say. I personally don't think Max is much different now to what he was like 5-6 years ago.
But I think people understand him better.
People understand him better, and he's earned the respect. No one ever thought that Max was a slow driver or whatever, but people respect 4-time world champions way more than they do people who have no championships. So I think when Max talks the way that he does, you kind of think, oh, well, he's earned that right to do it now. So I think people warm to it a little bit more because he's really sort of concreted his place in F1 as like a key figure in the sport. You can't imagine the grid without Max Verstappen on anymore. And that's how you know that you've got a driver that is making a big impact in the sport.
No, I agree. I forgot to say at the beginning, a couple of shout outs to the people who commented on our latest Spotify episode.
Okay.
John L. Just want to say the weeks with the Box episode are quite better. I think he's meaning they're much better. I'm really excited to see how everything's going to look like along this year.
You can't put words in his mouth. He didn't say much better. He's like quite. He means
he basically just said it makes his week. Like when he gets a Box episode, it's the best. Anyway.
They're a bit better.
Yeah.
We make your week a bit better.
Yeah, a bit better. Okay. And then Brit as well said, I agree. I missed you guys. Very nice comments. So thank you very much. Do check us out. All our videos are now on Spotify as well. So go and check them out on there. Luke, let's talk about the main topic. which everyone wants to talk about. All right. Charles Leclerc versus Lewis Hamilton. Who's going to win?
Yeah. Okay, but look,
No. Sorry. Let me rephrase that. Okay. With a competitive Ferrari, Charles Leclerc, Lewis Hamilton, who's winning the title?
I am never not going to back Lewis Hamilton.
Good boy.
I've never. I still wonder whether Charles will have that demon inside him that seems to just make things go wrong when they're just about to go right. And we know that Lewis in a title battle is disgusting, just relentless, does not take his foot off the gas. You know, that's why he's got 7 world championships. It's one of those like unhumanly talents that we don't see for generations. And I think Charles's pace at this point in time, I'd probably say Charles looks like the quicker driver. But going for a world championship changes people. It changes behaviors. It changes actions. It makes you do things that you don't normally do. And I think Charles is a bit of a sucker for that. So that's why if I said I'd put it down to the mentality war, I think Lewis would come out on top. But look, if Charles went on to win a world championship, I'd be delighted. But I think this year again is going to be really interesting for teammate battles because, you know, if Ferrari have a competitive car, will you see the best of Lewis Hamilton? Like, will we finally see the best of Lewis Hamilton? Something that we haven't truly seen since 2021. You know, Lewis Hamilton didn't just lose it overnight, did he? But now it's been 4 years since 2021. How much has changed in that time? I think you've then got George Russell, who I definitely regard George Russell as a world championship level driver. You know, if you give him the car, he will win a world championship, in my opinion. But Kimi Antonelli, young Kimi Antonelli, you know, we saw him improve throughout last season. I don't think we necessarily saw him earn all the praise that he was given when coming into the sport. Not that that's a problem. I know that will upset some people that I said that. He's just a young man. Kimi Antonelli will get to the level that he needs to. I've no doubt of that. But he's going to be quicker this season. You've then got the Lando and Oscar battle. Again, that's going to continue this season. I still don't know where I stand in that battle. I know where you stand. Don't worry. We all know where you stand, mate. But I'm not sure where I sit. I still think I'd back Oscar. But if I'm going to sit here and say I think Lewis Hamilton would beat Charles Leclerc because of a mentality thing, well, Oscar's form jumped off a cliff at one point last season. What the hell was that about? I know there's the conspiracy theory where McLaren doing something to his car. Let's go on the assumption that they wouldn't do that, because I like to think of the world as through the lens of a glass half full, right? Then that means that Oscar Piastri crumbled under pressure. Well, we know that Lando didn't. So then surely your money would be on Lando. So my question to you is, Charles Leclerc or Lewis Hamilton, who finishes ahead? Lando and Oscar, who finishes ahead? George and Kimi, who finishes ahead?
Okay. Look, as I said, my alliance would always be with Lewis Hamilton, and I agree with you in the sense of across the season, Lewis Hamilton, if he has a competitive car, he's in a much better place. He's much more composed. He's done it. He knows how to win championships. He knows how to win races. So my money would be on Lewis Hamilton. I think Charles Leclerc is a very quick driver and is a very good driver on his day, and he can put in a great performance. But over a season, my money would be on Lewis Hamilton. Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri. Look, I think we saw glimpses towards the end of the season with Oscar Piastri slowly coming back into form. But again, he did bottle it. He did bottle it. He was in his control last year and he did bottle it. I would still pick Oscar Piastri personally. I think Lando Norris, again, is a very quick driver, but I don't know. For me, I still always say Oscar Piastri. George Russell, Kimi Antonelli. This time last year, I wasn't on the bus about George Russell being world champion material. A year on, I would actually agree. I do think he is championship. He has the championship. He has the ability to go on and win a championship. I do think that. So my money would be on George Russell over Kimi Antonelli this year.
I think George Kimi is the easiest one. You know, I do think. I think for a lot of people, George Russell is underrated, which might sound crazy to some people, but I don't think George Russell gets the respect that he deserves on the grid. You know, look, I'm not being funny. I sit firmly of the opinion that George Russell is a better driver than Lando Norris. Is that controversial to say? How many people at home would disagree with that? You know, I'm not being funny, right? You're team principal of your surname F1 team, okay? And you know you've got a championship winning car, a car that is going to go on and win many races if you've got the right driver in the seat. But there is also another team that is going to push you to the limit. Who do you want driving your car? Lando or George?
I would be with George. I think if you put George in that McLaren last year against Lando Norris, George Russell is world champion.
Yeah, 100. And I think it would be a little bit more comfortable than, you know, I don't think it would have needed to go down to that final race. So, yeah, I think that's why the George Russell, Kimi Antonelli one is a bit of an easy one. And Kimi is still young, but Kimi's going to have to pull his finger out this year. We are going to have to see a significantly stronger Kimi Antonelli.
Big season.
We cannot come into this new round of regulations with Kimi Antonelli essentially being the slowest of the, let's say if it's similar to last year, the top 4 teams, so 8 drivers. That will not be acceptable. Kimi Antonelli will need to perform, and I think he will. Can I just add, I think we're going to see more from Kimi Antonelli this season, but another season like last, and I don't think he would have another in F1.
No, agree. I actually think that's probably the end of the podcast. It's a quick podcast. It's only 40 minutes, but obviously 2 weeks' time we'll be back. One thing I want to do next week, Luke, is I want us to write down and actually the one thing we didn't really do last year, I want us to write down and lock away until the end of the season who's going to win the championship, who's going to be the biggest flop, who's going to win the constructors. We'll put it on a piece of paper. We'll put it away for until the end of the season, and at the end of the year we can actually see whether we're right.
Okay, I'm up for that. I mean, look, I already know what my predictions are. I've got them all up here. But I think that'll be quite a nice way to, when we get to the end of the year, we can crack them open. What I'd actually like is for everyone listening as well to do the same. Write their predictions down with us and put them away, and we'll go through them all at the end of the year. We'll remind you, we'll say, pull out your envelope. We're going through our predictions next week. And
one thing we haven't decided yet is, obviously, it's going to be an early race, isn't it? Australia.
Yes.
We're going to watch it together, first race of the season, or you away, or you out. You got a busy night out. This is where he makes excuses, where he's like, I'm washing my hair.
I wonder if we can like live stream it or anything.
Probably could.
Like, as in, if you watch it in your office, I watch it in my office, and we essentially like stream us watching the race. How possible is that? I can figure it out. I won't leave that to you. Don't worry.
Thank you very much. Right, that is the end of the podcast. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Do let us know what your thoughts are. Do drop a comment. Do check us out on all social media, TikTok, Instagram. That's where we post mostly. And yeah, all I can say is I'm buzzing. 2 weeks' time, we would have had the first race of the season, and the F1 is underway. We've also, by the way, because we are massive Drive to Survive fans, because that's all we are apparently, according to some fans, Drive to Survive is out next Friday.
Is it?
Yeah.
I literally had no idea there was a new season coming.
Come on now, Luke. You've been putting in your calendar. We're Drive to Survive fans. That's how we get all our information. Come on.
No, I mean, that it makes for a great watch. I don't watch a lot of TV, so it'd be quite nice to have something to sit down and watch.
Yeah. No, I'm quite. And
that will be for the 2026 season, obviously. 2025 season.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think that should be spicy. I hope we see some things about. I don't know. Like what sort of delay they work on.
Come on, I know I say some stupid things, but that is up there, mate.
I can't remember the format of the show.
Huh?
I didn't know if it was like
for listening. Sorry for everyone.
Was it the second part of the season, or like have they already released like the first part? No, I don't know.
Come on now. You're just digging it. Right, we'll be back next week with a brand new podcast. Have a good week, and we shall see you soon. Bye bye.